On this episode, we're coming to you from the 2025 UKC Cur and Feist World Championship, and we've got a good one for you.
You're listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast, celebrating hunting dog heritage, competition, and community. United Kennel Club has been the hunting dog sports home for coonhounds, beagles, retrievers, pointers, cur, feist, and more for over 125 years.
Hey everyone, welcome to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. I'm Alan Gingrich, the Director of Hunting Ops at UKC, and I appreciate you tuning in today. I'm flying solo again here today. This time from the Cur and Feist World Championship that we held in Tell City, Indiana. The Ohio River runs just off to the side of Tell City, not that far away, and butts right up to the state of Kentucky, basically, southern part of Indiana here. But I headed out on Thursday afternoon with the truck and trailer in tow to the World Championship with plans to split the trip up a little bit along the way somewhere, wherever that might be. But as I was cruising down the interstate, I got to thinking about my old buddy that lives not far off of Interstate 65 down there around the Clarksville area. I've had a lot of good hunts back in the day with Butterbean, as we call him, and his mentor, so to speak, the old Redbone guy in his area, Butch Roeder. But, man, those two, Butch and Butterbean, when they get together, they were always together, but they get to telling stories. They'll tell stories, makes anyone's belly hurting from laughing so dang much. But most of the stories are about each other, and a bunch of them probably aren't always best to repeat. But, oh, man, I've had a lot of good times with old Butterbean. But anyways, another thing that we kind of a common interest we both have is Butterbean likes to play guitar and play around, play music and stuff like that, and done a lot of stuff like that back at the old breed day hunts and stuff. But sure do miss some of that. But he can sure play, that's for sure. He's a whole heck of a lot better than I am. But anyway, so I called old Butterbean, and man, just like the old days, or just like usual, don't talk nearly as much as we used to, but he answered the phone with, he turned 35 last Sunday, in his hair he found some gray. It's an old Bellamy Brothers song we probably played more than any other, but that's the way he always answers the phone when I call him, and it's never fails, seems like. But anyways, he had no big plans for Thursday night, so, man, it just worked out perfectly. We decided we're going to meet it out back down there, and we're going to eat a little bit, eat a steak or something, then we'll go back to his house, and we're going to do a little picking maybe. And matter of fact, he insisted I would just plan to stay for the night, and by golly, I took him up on the offer, and it was just turned out perfect, really. But anyways, man, it was just like the good old days. There was definitely no shortage of Butch stories, a bunch that I'd heard before, obviously, and others that I hadn't. But, this is just a good reminder, hanging out with Butterbean down there. Oftentimes it's too easy to get so busy or too busy and let work and other things take up so much of your time, and you don't get together with good friends as often as you should, or at least that's the case for me. Yeah, we sat down there to eat, and Butterbean let me know that he called one of our old buddies that used to come with them sometimes too, his old Kevin Shirley, and so he stopped by there as well. So, man, what a time we had. Holy cow, played music until I think midnight or so, probably a little after before we ever went to bed. Talked about the good old days, and we laughed so dang much I felt like I pulled a couple muscles the next morning. But only thing that might have been better is if old Butch could have actually been there. He's kind of getting up there in age and just doesn't get around as much anymore. But man, what a good night. That was a really good way to break up the trip down there. But anyways, World Hunt. Perry County Coon Club down at Tell City. Man, that club's been around for decades, put on a ton of hunts over the years, and we've been there now for the last for 3 years in a row now with this Cur and Feist World Championship, and they do such a great job, man. They've got plenty of good, safe places to hunt, several good hotels in town nearby there, got good places to eat, and shoot, you can eat good at the club there. But anyway, so Friday, I went over there Friday morning. I was only about right around an hour from Butterbean's house is all I had the next morning, so it worked out pretty good. I actually left, 8:30 and got down there about 9:30 and kind of putzed along and got everything set up on Friday, and And hunters actually started showing up pretty early on Friday, earlier than usual, and more than we normally have. But that was good. Loved it. But anyway, so much that Debbie Landers, Herbie's wife there, said next time she's going to need to have more food available there on the grounds for those coming in early. But anyway, several folks pulled in with their campers, and they've got electric hookups there, but no water hookups. But plenty of places to camp. Pretty good club area, pretty big club grounds there and everything. Jamie Eastep, our UKC field rep, came in from West Virginia. Planned to be there and help me out for the weekend and everything. And unfortunately, man, I was going to kind of had it set up for around that evening. I have everything ready to go, and we'd go out, maybe eat a little bit or something on Friday night and kind of get ready for the big day Saturday. And I called him after I left the club, and he is still about an hour and a half out. So Chris Ingram also came down from Vermont. And so he and I went out to dinner, and then Jamie's trying to call me, and we couldn't make connection. They had bad service there when we were eating. But anyways, after he got done eating, turns out he got in a fender bender right after I got off the phone with him, right soon after. So bad enough he totaled his car, so sure hated that for him. So that really put the kibosh on his little trip coming in there in the last hour and a half. But anyways, he got somebody over there to pick him up and everything, and he had a rental. Not a good deal anyway, so he had to kind of deal with that. And it was just kind of another thing on his list for the weekend, unfortunately. But anyways, Chris Ingram, he's from Vermont, and he works on our media team, and this was a first-time squirrel hunt for him, basically. And he's went out squirrel hunting, of course, before, and he's kind of an outdoorsy guy and hunter and does a lot of hunting and fishing and things like that. He is the editor of our Sportsman's Journal, actually, at United Kennel Club. But he wanted to come down there, get a bunch of footage and video clips and pictures and stuff like that of squirrel dog stuff. So this was a good event for him to come to. So he did that, and he did get a lot of footage, and hopefully we'll see some of those here in the days coming up here before long. I'm anxious to see what he got put together. But anyways, going back to, the weather was really good Friday and also very good Saturday for the first 2 rounds of the World Hunt. We had a bench show in after round 1 in the middle of the day on Friday there, or Saturday, I mean. And we had some of the best numbers ever for the Feist show. And so that was good to see. The Cur show is separate from the Feist. We run them in kind of in conjunction with each other. So that's kind of interesting. Jamie Eastep was actually the judge for both of those. And you can check out all the winners on the various Feist Facebook pages that are out there, such as United Treeing Feist Association. I posted everything there, shared it around to others. United Mountain Feist Association, their page, the MFA, and also obviously the UKC Cur program sites as well. So cast winners and everybody that placed or that were won in the show and all that, and in the hunt obviously as well, are on those sites that you can see their pictures and all that stuff. So but hey, speaking of winners, I'm not gonna sit here and rattle all day here, but I got to talk with some of our winners, specifically our show winners, overall world show winners, and our hunt winners you're going to hear from. And so right now the first guy I got rounded up was Doug Marlo from Illinois. You probably heard him a couple weeks ago. It was the first time I had him on the podcast, and wouldn't you believe it, he won the Feist show with a little dog he calls Piggy, Flaming Piggy, I think is her name. But he won the show, and man, you could tell he won the show. But anyways, so hey, my first interview is here with Doug, so let's take a listen right here. Doug talking about Piggy and winning the world show. Doug, I just had you on the podcast, 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were talking about some of your dogs and stuff. I think it was at the National Runoff, maybe Derby Day or whatever. I had you on the podcast. Here we are at the World Hunt. You just won the dang World Show.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
It's all right.
Been a good day.
Yeah, good day. I had 3 dogs out of my kennel in that finals.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Doing something right on the confirmation.
Well, okay, you're talking about Charlo was one.
Charlo
had one.
And
were
Bent.
The other 2?
Bentley.
Yeah, okay. Both They all came out of your kennel.
Yeah, every one of them.
Yeah. But hey, you kept the best one, obviously, huh?
Yeah, it looked like it, didn't it?
She looked good today too.
Yeah.
One of the strongest things I think I haven't seen a rear end on a Feist like that. I don't think ever.
Yeah.
You know, I've not been around the Feist all that long, you know, but that's probably about as strong a rear end.
When
as
she
I've
was
seen.
a puppy, I told the wife, I said, that and there's something. I said, she's perfectly built, perfectly marked, and perfectly built.
Yeah.
Square as could be. She didn't understand what I was saying about square, but
Hey, a couple of weeks ago, you were telling me you liked a black dog with some white trim. You liked a blaze on her face, and that's exactly what this one is.
well, yeah, that's 90% of them on my place looks like that.
Hey, Flaming Piggy is her name. So was she a champion? You got her champion, right?
Right,
She won the champion class, and
right.
then out of a big class today too. Today was the biggest world show for Feister I think we've ever had.
Yeah, there was quite a few there.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I mean, it was tough competition. There's
Yeah.
a lot of good dogs there.
What is Piggy?
What?
What is she?
She's out of a pig, you know, and female I call Gabby is out of Cloud Jr. and my old Flaming Hot Gabby, the one that won the NCFBA.
Okay. Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Hunt.
Oh, the hunt. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what? So you said pig. What
but,
pig?
But Gabby, the one out of Cloud, she won the NKC show a couple years back.
dog? Okay. What pig dog? What's her sire pig? The world
Pistol
champ.
pig.
Oh, the world champion pig.
Yeah,
hunt?
mid-ten-
Oh yeah, no
mid-ten
kidding.
pig.
Yeah. Gosh darn it. Yeah, I would have
Yeah.
never guessed that. Total different color like that. I guess I would have never
Well,
guessed
I pretty well throw that strong black and white.
that. Yeah.
Uh,
That must be very dominant.
yeah, it is, except for them two red ones I got out of Bo. Old Bo took over on me. You know, Bentley's black and white. You've seen her.
Yep,
You know, and but all the pups was red out of Bo.
Yeah.
But they're nice looking dogs.
Yeah.
But Plant's he owns both of them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw you. I gotta tell you a little bit. I was watching when you were showing there in the champion class a little bit. You were about right in the center. There was a class of I think six champions in the class. The first class you were in, that you won. You got her set up, man. She did not move. Sometimes there's a little noise. Feist, they get a little squirrely, so to speak. A lot of them do, maybe more than the big hounds. But man, you had her. You must work her a lot, huh?
Yeah, I work her a lot. Plus, I take her around to all the clubhouses and everything. She sees a ton of people. I haul her everywhere with
Yeah.
me. I mean, you know that's the way you get them used to everything. She's a nice stray dog too. She will be a dandy, and probably by next year you'll be seeing her in the hunts.
How old is she?
10 months old.
That's it.
Yeah.
I thought she looked young. I didn't realize she was that young.
Yeah, she muscles up good next year. She might win her again.
Holy cow! I didn't realize she was that young. She's just a puppy still.
Yeah, but she's a nice tree dog.
Yeah. So hey, tell me, what is it? You won some big shows before, obviously too. But what goes through your mind when you're first? Let's start with your champion class. You're up there against some really nice dogs in the class.
Yeah, it was tough. It was really tough. You just got to keep an open mind. You can't let the nerves take over because your dogs know you're nervous.
Do you look around a little bit, seeing what you're showing against?
Yeah, I got to see. You know, I get mine set up pretty good, and then I look around, see what I'm up against, and maybe polish mine up a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, hey, she stood there nicely for you the whole time.
Yeah, she's a dandy.
Yeah. So then you make it you win that class. You get to the finals. Now you're up against the 4 dogs in that. You got the registered male, best male of show, and best female of show, and registered.
Yeah, that
and
two's out of mine too.
Yeah, they are. And then you got the champion. You're the champion, and then up against the grand winner. Those 4 dogs.
Yeah.
What goes through your mind when you're up there in that class?
Yeah,
I said, you got a good shot when you were up there.
I thought I had a good shot, but you know that. Like I said, you just got to kind of keep a blank mind, because if you start showing nerves, your dog will show nerves too.
Yeah, they'll feel that, don't they?
Yeah. And I think I got a little excited, and she felt it and moved her back leg. She don't hardly ever do that. And I said, boy, I got to settle down now.
Yeah.
I had plenty of time.
Yeah, well, hey, that was pretty cool, really. So, congratulations, Doug, man. Your dog looked really good, and I'd say, I didn't realize she was that young. I thought she looked young, but I didn't realize she was that young. But that's pretty impressive. Gosh darn it, you're right. She's going to be tough to beat for a while, I'd say.
Yeah, she must a lot more next year. I'll be back, but I hope you double up next year.
There you go. There you go. All right, Doug. Well, congratulations, man.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, appreciate you being here, and you can see this afternoon after that show. You're never down on anything, but it was good to see you all excited and happy about it. So, deservedly
Who can't
so,
be
man.
happy?
Deservedly so, man. All right, thank you, bud.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Yeah, definitely an exciting win for Doug. You know, he's won a lot of stuff over the years. He's been a dog man all his life. He doesn't know what life would be without a hunting dog, I don't think. And he's had everything. He's had beagles too, you know, but he likes them tree dogs for sure, and you can hear that. But he's excited, and good for him. Congratulations to Doug there, winning and a nice little dog. I didn't realize she was as young as she was, only 10 months old. So, man, that dog's got a bright future ahead of her. But, hey, we also had a nice lineup of curs in the show as well. Gamble's Burley, he was re-entered again. He was last year's world champion, and so he came back to defend that title, if you will. And by golly, he wouldn't you know it, he won it again. So same thing, Angie Cable. This dog was previously owned by Leroy Gamble from Kentucky, but Kevin Cable bought the dog he's from Indiana, and his wife Angie was there, hunted and showed the dog. So this is going to be my next interview, and here's Angie Cable talking about her win. Different year, different day, different judge, different owner, same result.
Yes, sir.
Burley did it again.
He did. We were going for a 2 in a row, and he conquered.
Gosh, he's had a lot of 2s now. He won the back-to-back Dog of the Year, and then back-to-back World Shows. This time with now owned by your husband Kevin, and you showed the dog today. Man, he looked good again.
He's a natural.
Really good.
He's very natural. Leroy has done a lot of work with him prior to us getting him, so we appreciate that. But we fine-tuned him, and he did really well today.
Yeah, he's great shape too. Perfect shape, really.
I don't know who to give credit to that to. I guess I got to give that to Kevin.
Yeah, well, hey,
I bathed him, gave him a nail trim.
Well,
so,
you
know, I tried.
There you go. What do you like about Burley? I talked to Kevin and Jackson here a couple of weeks ago, and after the Dog of the Year win, but I asked them, and what do you like about him?
I like his personality. He's an all-around dog. You can hunt him, you can show him, you can lay on the couch with him, you can throw him treats. He's happy to be around, and he loves people and kids. And
is he one where you can just jump in the truck and go somewhere, and he'll just sit in the seat, or not really that type?
He won't sit in the seat, but he'll look out that dashboard for you. He's very attentive to what's going on around him.
Yeah. So you guys have had him a little while now. When did you get him back in the fall, early fall?
Mid-September we got him.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, because Kevin's going to tell everybody this anyways. When he called Leroy to buy him, I was not impressed when he made that decision to go down there and get him.
Why?
Well, it was a chunk of money for what was going to be a pleasure dog to squirrel hunt with. Yeah. So I thought.
But just think of those 700 squirrels, Angie.
Yeah. Lots of money in those and shotgun shells.
You didn't sell any of them,
huh? No. We took a good picture, and they had a blast doing it, though. But honestly, I tell them all the time, dog's not for sale. Don't price him. Don't, because I'd be upset. I'd be hard to live with.
Yeah, that's kind of, I kind of know, especially when you get attached to a dog like that. And I can see he'd be the type that you could easily get attached to.
Definitely.
Very likable guy, or very likable dog. The only time that I've been around him now is for the last 2 years when Leroy had him, and he'd have him in there with his whole family and everything. You could just tell the dog is just a people dog.
He really is. He's great. That little girl was out here today and asked if she could walk him. I said, yeah, and she took him over and put him on the bench, and he just stood there for her. I got a picture with him, and made her day.
Really, he's not necessarily a one-person dog or anything like that.
No, Jackson's hunted him and showed him. Kevin's hunted him. I've hunted him and showed him, and I think he just aims to please, and he's just happy to get out and do what he likes.
Yeah, well, I know you came down here, you knew you had a good dog and to show him again or whatever, but how does that feel to mission accomplished, that it worked out that way?
Yeah, I really enjoyed.
He was up against some pretty nice dogs,
there's
actually.
A real nice brindle female behind me, and I've kind of I liked her. I'm glad Jamie liked mine just a little bit more than her, because I was sweating a little bit. I was like, wow, she's nice. But yeah, we come down. It's a little bit different. I wasn't going to hunt. And then I got thinking that, the rabbit, the beagles, and the curs, they kind of show what they hunt.
Yeah.
I thought, well, that'd be kind of weird to show up and just show. So I said, we got to put him in the hunt too. So we did that this morning too. So
yeah, and you actually I talked to you a little bit about that. Yeah, if you don't care, it looks like you said he came out of the box. He treed 3 squirrels and then kind of didn't.
Yeah,
another
he went
dog
limbo on me, and then boy that come down with us, Hayden Bartram, his little female went in there and treed 4. So mine dominated the first half, and his dominated the second.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're gonna get beat, you might as well be beat by somebody.
Somebody you brought to the hunt.
Somebody you enjoy being around. So Hayden's a good boy. He's put in his time, and hopefully the second round goes good for him this afternoon.
Well, he's out right now as we're recording this. So but yeah, he was, and then his dog was a high scoring dog too.
Yes, yep. But, and then I had he had 400, I had 300. And he got the cast win, and I got 10th place. So hey, I'm tickled. I still got hardware. I'm different than the 2 I live with. I show up, I have a good time, I get my picture and a little trophy. I'm happy.
There you go.
We've had a good time.
You did that. So hey, what's next? Kevin told me a couple of weeks ago. He said he's just going to be a squirrel dog.
That's what they tell me. He said if I want to go to a couple hunts or something next fall or next spring or whatever, then it's on me. But he said squirrel hunting is what he does for fun. He ain't gonna run the roads and do the hunts and stuff with him.
5? Was he 5?
Yep, he just turned 5. I believe it's 1st February.
Still got 2, 3, 4 years, and Jackson can take him up to a hunt without probably having to hunt him up a whole lot, youth hunts or whatever, So
yeah, he's nice. We can let him run around the yard and different things, so he kind of stays in shape, and we can hunt right there behind the house, so he can keep himself in shape, and Jackson can hunt him, and we just have a good time with him. He's a good dog.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Angie. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Alan, you've been feeding Eukanuba dog feed for a while now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have, and I've really been able to put my beagles to the test, mainly running snowshoe hare up north where they run the hardest, where I put 15, 20, 25 miles on them easily in a day. And I've found that the premium performance sport has really paid dividends. Mainly, I noticed their stamina.
Yeah, same feed that I've been feeding. I think my dog looks good on it. He's really feeling good, and less kennel cleanup for me, so I highly recommend it as well.
Eukanuba, the official performance dog nutrition partner of UKC. Yeah, so there you go. Good for her, man. She loves that dog, obviously, but anyways, congratulations there 2 times in a row. Nice dog too. She had hunted the dog earlier that in the first round, and she talked about that a little bit as you heard there. But again, you can check out all of the show winners on the same sites I mentioned. And so let's talk about the hunt here a little bit. The hunt went off very smoothly this year. Not one question came back all weekend. I had a couple of questions, but just like your normal, a couple of what ifs and this and that, and maybe just, hey, did we do this right? Those kind of things, but nothing official in the forms of a question that any cast members questioned. But anyway, so that was Saturday. Ran 2 rounds in the morning and then in the evening hunt, and just weather couldn't ask for much better weather, that's for sure. But anyway, so that took us into Sunday morning, and the final cast for the Curs ran on Sunday morning. You're down to 3 dogs for it, and those 3 were Stephen Comer. He's out of Rushville, Indiana. He was hunting a dog named Next Level White Claw. She's a 3-year-old treeing cur that's owned by Anthony Morris out of Texas. I didn't ask him if. I assume that's who still owns the dog. I don't guess he owned the dog, just hadn't transferred it yet, but that's who we show on record. So he had Stephen Cromer, Claw as he calls her. That's a female. Billy Adcock, Genoa City, Wisconsin. That's over on the Lake Michigan side there, but it butts up against Lake Michigan, I guess, halfway up there in Wisconsin on the lakeside. Dog named Chain Rat Ralph. Say that about 5 or 6 times as fast as you can. Chain Rat Ralph is the name of his dog. He's a 2-year-old mountain cur off of 2020 Hummer's Bad Unit. Is the sire of that dog. Good-looking rascal, and man, I just like the way he acted. 4-year-old female rounded out this final cast for the Curs out of Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Another mountain cur that's owned and handled by Charles Puckett. Man, she looks like she's built for speed. She's a kind of a Rayleigh little female there, and I guess she can fly. But she was first on the board in that Sunday morning in the final cast. She was first on the board with 2 squirrels, and then she kind of got out of pocket. Just the way everything kind of turned out. The other dogs
got the tree in two, and just as they turned out, just kind of dogs kind of got away from each other. It's kind of a unfortunate deal for Mr. Puckett there, and so much just the way it turned out. They had a lot of action. I'm telling you, that scorecard was filled up. I think they made, don't hold me, I'd have to look at the scorecard again here, but I think you're going to hear me and the winner talking about it a little bit. I want to say they made 12, 13 trees altogether, something like that. But anyways, Mr. Puckett ended up just withdrawing her before the end of the hunt. He could obviously see where she was. She'd been treed for a long time. Just could not hear her, just couldn't get to where they could hear her, scoring other dogs. So, but he ended up withdrawing before the end of the hunt and went to get her, and just to make sure she was all right. But so the other two, Claw and Ralph, in the meantime, they really got with the program while she kind of got out of pocket there, as I mentioned, and they treed 3 squirrels apiece as well as a couple circle trees, and they ended up pretty much basically in a tie until they're towards the end. Ralph ended up making his 6th tree in the morning hunt there to break the tie and win the world hunt there in the last 5 minutes, basically, to seal the deal. But so anyways, after they came back in, and they had a real hunt, really, other than Claw kind of getting out of, or Ivy getting out of pocket there on him a little bit, and just a lot of scoring going on, scoring trees and a lot of action throughout the morning for sure. The weather had been, it was pretty dreary, but for the most part, they didn't get very wet. I guess it rained a little bit, but it wasn't too bad at this point still. But they came back in, and obviously Billy had won it with Ralph, and I rounded him up right away, and got to hear him talking about Ralph and the hunts that he had throughout the weekend. So here we go. Did you get wet out there this morning at all, or not really?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was on and off.
Yeah. Hey, folks, everybody's listening in. I'm here talking to Billy Adcock from Wisconsin. Where in Wisconsin do you live at?
Genoa City.
Genoa City. That's on the eastern side, you said,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Southeast Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Just across the border of Illinois.
Yeah, so what do you do? What do you do in Wisconsin? Other than coon hunt and hunt for squirrels, what else?
Fish.
Fish?
We fish a lot.
Probably got a job doing something.
Yeah, I work for a general contractor out of Illinois.
Okay, yeah.
Superintendent for
Yeah.
them.
Man, Sunday morning here, we're sitting in my truck here. It's raining now, but we're done. We're done. The hunt's over with.
Yeah.
Hunt's over with, and you won it, Billy. What are your
nail biter, but he was firing on all cylinders today.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about him. Ralph. What do you call him? Chain Rat Ralph. Is that it?
Yeah, the chain rat thing comes from. So, I live close to the Fox Chain, and I fish the Fox Chain, and all the old timers that fish there, they call themselves chain rats, and that's kind of where the chain rat thing comes from. And when I was headed to Bill Evans to pick him up, me and my buddy stopped at there's a tavern called Ralph's by our house, and we were having breakfast there, and I was talking to Adam, and I said, what should I name this dog? It'd be either Earl or Ralph, and he said Earl had to die, so we named him Ralph.
Yeah, young dog, I guess.
Yeah, he just turned 2 January 1st.
Yeah, so where does he come from, and what does his pedigree look like?
He's out of Scott Bill Evans' Bad Unit dog, which is out of Hummer, and Porcupine Mountain Sydney's his mother, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Eric Wally owns her now.
Okay, down where is he? Georgia or Louisiana, someplace?
South Mississippi.
Okay, Mississippi. There you go. Yeah, dog's bred good then.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Yeah, and just two years old. So yeah, young dog, man.
He started early. He started 5 months old. I raised him in the house till he was probably 8 months old, and so when springtime rolled around, I got 5 acres, and it's all oaks in my front yard, and there's a den tree right out my front window, and a female coon has babies every spring, and I would let him out at night to go to the bathroom before bed, and he probably treated her 10-12 times that summer, and he's a way better coon dog than he is a squirrel dog. That's how he started.
We were talking in the clubhouse. That's what you were saying. So you coon hunt him a lot too, then, huh?
Actually, I don't hunt him that much.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But I'll start.
Yeah.
I think I might put him in a couple of PKC hunts locally. And
so, what other hunts? Have you put him in a bunch of hunts, or not really?
He's an NKC squirrel champion. He's
today, I guess you win. Last day today makes him a UKC champion as well.
and I would probably hunt more UKC hunts if they were a little bit closer, you know.
Oh, well, we got to work on that, I guess.
We're going to have to. Because we had one locally last year, and that's where he got his first 2 cast wins coming.
So how would you summarize your hunts here at Tell City this week? Yesterday, Saturday, and
as far as the hunt and the dog work, and it's some of the best hunting I've ever been in. I mean, this is beautiful timber down here. I really enjoyed myself this weekend.
Probably up and down a little more than what you're used to at home.
Yeah, being 230 doesn't get up and down the hills as easy as some of these skinny guys. But,
yeah.
It was when he's treed, your heart gets pumping. You start heading to him. But he, in the afternoon, you could tell that the ride and the morning hunt kind of took a toll on him, and he wasn't himself. But
so you came down Thursday evening, was it, or early Friday morning, or when did you get here?
When did I come? I left Friday morning. I stopped over in Warsaw, and then come the back way here. And
so he's been riding for a good while. Yeah, man. So I made it through Saturday's rounds, and you end up here Sunday morning. Man, they're calling for rain, and it is raining right now. Your hunt's over, so it doesn't matter anymore. But what are your thoughts going into a hunt like this morning? Feeling pretty good about it?
I was nervous the way he hunted. See, he's coming off of a cycle of doxy. He's got Lyme. And I haven't taken him back to do any blood work yet to see if he got rid of it or whatever. But he hasn't been himself. And so that afternoon round when he was a little tired yesterday, I was a little nervous coming in this morning. But he slept in a hotel bed and he got a good meal, so he was firing all cylinders this morning. He's not a wide ranging dog, and it's just tough luck for the Ivy dog to get out of pocket like she did. But what a good dog.
Yeah, and you were talking about that a little bit. She treated a couple pretty quick this morning, and then kind of got out of pocket. But and then you had the Claw dog as well. She
very good dog.
Night looked good. Both the dogs had 300. Looks like Ralph made one more tree. There's what won it, but
in the last 3 minutes.
13 total trees between these 3 dogs in this final hunt. Man, scorecard looks pretty.
We were seeing squirrels too.
Yeah,
I mean they brought us to a great set of time.
Yeah, even in this weather, it was. I'd call that a good hunt, considering.
We pulled out of the truck, and I'm standing there with Ralph on the leash waiting, and there's squirrels running around, and he's getting excited.
So I'm looking at this scorecard here, Billy, and it's nip and tuck all the way down through the hunt. What does that feel like as a handler out there? You don't have it won till the last tree.
Exactly, and I'm not a big competition hunter, so I didn't expect to get this far with a young dog, but the way he was hunting, it's like, this might be possible. And I mean, it's like they were going tree for tree, when we kept going on through, and it's your heart's pumping. I was nervous going, before we turned loose. And
on the very last tree, that sealed it up for you. The very last tree. Did you know that going into that very last tree? Did you know you had to have another tree to win here?
Yeah, because I think
that's how it.
We went and scored.
Needed to happen.
We went and scored a circle tree on her, which wasn't too
Talking
far
about
from
Claw. Yeah.
Which wasn't too far from one he scored on.
Yeah.
And so when I recut, he peeled and went south, and he recut, and she went north, and I seen him on the Garmin. He was only about 80 yards from us, and he wasn't moving. And he works an area, he's working one up, and Judge showed us the time, and he was down to the 4, 3, 2, and then he started treeing. So I had to call him. It was a tiebreaker.
You're talking about minutes, 4, 3, 2 minutes. Gosh darn. Yeah, that's got to be. And then it really, at that point, I don't know if you knew it or not, didn't matter. It just needed to be something other than a minus, and it kind of wraps it up for you right there.
And that's a good thing about Ralph. He's ever since he started, he's been a solid tree dog, and he's not leaving. Another dog's not going to make him leave.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like to back another dog. He likes to get off by himself, and which most of these dogs are like that anyway.
What do you like best about him? What's
the brain on him? He's got a good brain. He's a smart dog. I mean, I can play with him like a puppy, as big as he is, and then take him to the woods, cut him loose, and he's got a little art to what he does.
Yeah.
And
I saw when you brought him in here this morning after your hunt, he's just laying there. You're sitting on the chair. He's just laying on the spread out on the floor there in front of you. I like seeing that dogs, man.
He comes in the house. I let him in the house, especially when it gets real cold. It gets cold up by us.
Yeah.
So, I bring him in the house when on cold days, and he goes and lays on the couch and he wants to play with the other dogs. And he's a big goofball.
You got any other plans for him coming up here? Shoot soon here? You haven't thought about it much?
Well, the next plan is I was planning on rolling over to that WTDA deal.
Oh yeah.
April coming up, I think 12th, 13th, but that would probably be the next thing.
So you're not gonna just put him up?
I like it too much.
Yeah.
I took this year off of fishing tournaments and focusing on my dogs.
There you go. Well, Billy, hey, congratulations, man.
Thank you, sir.
World Championship here, and appreciate you coming, and congratulations, man.
Thank you for putting on a A+ event.
Yeah, there you go. Good for him. He was excited, and rightfully so. That's a good-looking hound. His dog did a nice job throughout the weekend, and he's the world champion. But yeah, Chain Rat Ralph. So that's a name, that kind of a catchy name that I just never heard of the dog until just a young dog, obviously, as you heard. But he's got his whole life ahead of him at 2 years old still. But let's back to the Feist again here. They had a total of 4 rounds, so they were also running round 3 on the same Sunday morning, but that was their semifinals. But they needed, just the way the numbers were, they needed to run 4 rounds. And Saturday night, there is certainly a lot of hype over the 4 that were still left standing there. Adam Wilson of DeMossville, Kentucky. He has a young dog. Shoot, he's barely up. He's merely still a pup, and a dog he calls Double Up on the Dingo. But he's already done he's a champion, squirrel champion. He's already done a bunch of winning here in just as a 1-year-old. He just won the Pup Derby a couple weeks ago there in Hardin, Kentucky, and he's off of the world champion Cloud Jr. And then I think his mother is the Roxanne dog that Aiden Mitchell has been hunting, and I think they might have sold her. I think they just recently sold her. Aiden's not hunting her anymore, but man, I hear a lot of good things about this Dingo dog. They're at the Derby, Pup Derby. Guys were talking about him, and obviously he won it, and even still here at the World Hunt. So I don't think he was that much of a surprise to see him here in the quarterfinals. But anyway, so you had Dingo, and then Dingo drew Chad Wagner of Dexter, Kentucky, with his Bo dog. Bo, he's also won a ton, and he's no stranger into the Feist hunts here, but he's now actually getting a little age on him, and probably at the point where it may or may not favor him at 7 years old. I know he's lost a step or two, Chad says, but this dog is a 2-time Dog of the Year and was the first ever UKC Hall of Fame dog for any breed of squirrel dogs, for that matter, actually. But hey, the unique thing here is he's also off of Cloud Jr., which he drew Dingo, so that made 2 half brothers to go heads up there in the quarters on Sunday morning. Then there was 1 female left in the herd at this point, Windy Ridge Stormy, 6-year-old out of Chillicothe, Ohio, that's owned and handled by David Riley. She was one that I didn't know much about, but it was apparent that a bunch of the guys do know her, and they weren't surprised at all to see her still in it on Sunday. And a nice-looking little gyp, Cur and Feist. She's a Grand Squirrel champion. We don't have her lineage on record here at UKC, and I forget what they said she was bred like, but I tried to call David back here before I started recording this, and I didn't get an answer. But anyways, Slyman's Rocky and Merle is a 6-year-old that's been making waves for several years around these squirrel hunts, and not just in UKC, but several different formats that I know that Casey Slyman, the owner, hunts. Merle is definitely one of the favorites, or one to beat if you're going to do well in the World Hunt, that's for sure. Casey Slyman, one of the nicest guys you'll meet. He's from Tennessee, around McEwen, I think. Merle, his little dog, is a little black Cur and Feist that he raised off his old Rocky dog. Merle posted the highest score of the championship there in the Saturday round 2 in the evening, where he scored 800 plus in a heads-up shootout against Jamie McCarson's Sage female, and she had 700 in that cast.
So, man, they had one heck of a cast there that night, and just between the two of them, one scored 800 and the other scored 700, and but yeah, so they really put up. So there it was. Merle, he drew the female we just talked about, Windy Ridge Stormy. So yeah, Dingo and Bo, the two tan-colored dogs, half brothers. They were in the first cast Sunday morning, and then Stormy and Merle, the two dark-colored dogs. So it was kind of dreary on Sunday morning, and these dogs, they struggled a little bit more than they did on Saturday. We had non-hunting judges in this round, and actually we started with non-hunting rounds in round 2 on Saturday night already, actually. But as it turned out, Bo won his cast against Dingo, and then Merle won his cast against the female Stormy there, and Dingo ended up placing 4th overall. And man, what an excellent showing though for this young dog and Adam Wilson, and I'd say he's got a nice future ahead of him for sure, I'd say. And then obviously Stormy finished 3rd overall. So good showing for those two dogs. But that put Merle and Bo in the final cast. And, man, the weatherman was calling for more rain, and probably wouldn't be any better time to hunt, for this final cast here than to just turn around and go right back out. And that's what we decided to do. It was supposed to get pretty bad maybe later on in the afternoon, and didn't look like it was going to get any better at any time. So they got back out as soon as they could, and every round was 90 minutes throughout the championship, so that's what this would be. And in this cast here, Merle and Bo each treed a squirrel, and they also each had 2 circle trees, and ended up in a unbreakable deadlock or unbreakable tie at the end of regulation of the 90-minute hunt. And per the rules for this cast, this created a sudden death situation where it took nearly 30 minutes again before Bo made the next tree and to break the tie and win the world hunt. That ended up being a circle tree, but nonetheless, that's what it took to break the tie between the two, and he came out the victor. So after they came back there, Chad Wagner, I pulled him off to the side, and so here he is talking about his 2nd world hunt title, and this time with Bo. Here we are, Saturday afternoon, Chad, 3 o'clock, Tell City. You just won another world championship, this time with Bo. How old is he now?
He's 7.
7.
Yep.
Do you think this day might come? I know the last couple of years you've been hitting it pretty hard with some high hopes for Bo to win this hunt.
I was hoping, but I think it was getting away from me.
Yeah.
Bo's kind of slowing down. He's not as competitive as he used to be. So I thought it had kind of got away from me, honestly.
Yeah. Well, he's out of a world champion. Let's talk about Bo a little bit. What is he, for those that don't know?
Bo is out of Cedarwood Cloud Jr., which won UKC World Hunt in 2018. At that point, we were hunting out of LBL then.
Yeah.
So that's been several years ago. So Bo started out at a young age. I've won quite a bit with him. Been fortunate to have him. He was back-to-back UKC Outstanding Feist Squirrel Dog of the Year 2 years in a row. Reserve UKC World Champion. And we finally got the UKC World Champion this time.
Yep, Dog of the Year twice, too.
Yep, back-to-back.
Yeah, back-to-back Dogs of the Year, yep. Yeah, just a nice little dog's been really good to you. You've probably won with him as much as any dog you've had, haven't you?
More,
yeah.
More.
I was going to guess I don't know everything you've had, but...
Well, I had... so I've really only pushed 3 dogs. His granddad, his dad, and him.
Yeah.
So, but he's by far won more than... Junior was 4 when he won this world hunt. And I put him up after he won. And I retired him.
Yeah.
At 4. So I didn't do anything else with him.
Mm.
And here's Bo 7, and I've pushed him the whole time.
Yeah.
So...
After you win one, does that, so now it's 2, but does it, is it still just as sweet to win another one, or how is it? I'm sure it's always great that first time, but how is it different the second time? Or is it going to take a little bit to sink in a little bit to see what that difference might be? Or
it's just
do you have a different approach at all, or what does that look like?
No different approach. Anything that I do with my dogs, I'm just blessed to have an accomplishment between me and my dog. It's not selling puppies. It's not anything that has to do with what's on Facebook. It's because these titles mean nothing to nobody else. except for me and my dog. And really just me. But it's an accomplishment between me and my dog, and that's just the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's a good perspective to have.
Because I'll never sell Bo, so what difference does a world title make to anybody else?
Yeah, yeah. How were your hunts this weekend? This year, last year was kind of tough. Last year, I remember it was on Saturday. First day was windy and just tough.
So
this year was better, was it not?
2 years ago, I had a dead cast first round, so we were out first round. Last year, I made it through the first round into the second, and it was tough last year. All 3 rounds, I wasn't lucky as some cast. Our first round, we had 1 squirrel. Second round, we had 2 squirrels. Third round, we had 1 squirrel. And the fourth round, we had 1 squirrel.
That's this year.
That's this year.
Yeah.
So it was tough.
Yeah.
And
Hey, we're going to talk about your final cast here this afternoon, or today here, Sunday. Let's talk about your morning cast. It's heads up with Dingo, which is off half brother to Bo.
it's a half brother. I told him when I got out of the truck, I said, guys, I've won. It don't matter what happens.
Yeah.
And they said, why is that? I said, we're hunting 2 half brothers together, so whatever happens, I win.
Yeah. Look a lot alike, too, I guess. If you don't, maybe not to you, to me, they don't look that much different. One's got a long tail, I guess, but Dingo, he's on the opposite end of being, aged. He's just a young dog still, but
He's not 2.
yeah, he's under 2 still.
And it's bittersweet hunting with Dingo. Dingo, just as a side profile, he looks just like Junior.
Okay.
So if I look going down through there, it just takes me back a few years when I was hunting Junior.
You see any similarities when you hunt these 2 together to old Junior, their daddy?
Yeah.
Like in this morning's cast?
The only thing that I wish, Junior's producing some squirrel dogs. That's what I'm most proud of. The only difference in Junior and anything else I've had is Junior could locate way faster than anything else that I've had out of him.
Okay.
So that's what I guess was Junior's biggest attribute towards winning, was just how quick he could locate.
I've hunted with Bo a couple times, and I can maybe see what you're saying. He wants to be sure of himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, he'll go back and check a time or 2 before he settles in sometimes.
Yeah.
I wish he didn't do that, but I just have to hunt him. I just have to learn how to hunt dog for dog,
Yeah. Well, it's not. He's won plenty. No, he's the first Hall of Fame dog.
First Hall of Fame and
UKC.
the first Feist Hall of Fame and the first Cur Hall of Fame dog. Both come from Dexter, Kentucky.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
that?
Yeah. Burley and him. Yeah. Leroy Gamble's dog. Yeah. So this morning's hunt against Dingo, and now this afternoon up against Casey's Lyman and that Merle dog. And Merle always comes to win.
Oh, yeah.
Any event you go to.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've hunted with him a bunch.
This is actually the first time we've competed against each
Oh,
other.
it is it?
Yes.
No kidding.
I've judged him once.
Okay.
I spectated once, but it's the first time I've hunted against him.
Yeah.
And
He came in last night. He put up a big score last night. Him and Sage did. He came out the victor to put him in the semifinals.
yeah.
And so he can tree him.
He had what, 800 plus?
800 plus, yeah.
So
The other dog against him had 700. Between the 2, they had 1,500 plus points in that cast.
So to me, right before we got sat down talking, we was talking earlier, and to me, 2 things that one thing that makes an exceptional dog, I think, is gears.
Yeah.
So Merle showed last night he can speed up and tree a bunch, and today he can slow down and grub them out.
Yeah.
And consistency in a dog, and there ain't been too many other dogs.
Adapt to the conditions.
Yeah, and ain't been too many dogs that's been more consistent than Merle. So I was fortunate to get drawed out with Merle and Casey. Casey's just a gentleman all the way around.
Yep, sure
And Merle's
is.
a great dog, so
Yep.
I was fortunate.
Yeah. So let's talk about your last hunt here. It was raining here this morning. Last night already. We were looking at the weather predictions, and it did not look good. Did not look good this morning. It actually looked a little better. It looked like most of the weather was going north of us here, and we might kind of get lucky. And you did. I don't think nobody got really wet this morning. But then when you went back out, it was, hey, we need to go now before it's supposed to really come by here this afternoon.
It rained off and on. This morning cast, in an hour and a half, it dropped 5 degrees this morning.
Yeah.
While we were on the cast. So I knew it was getting worse. Got back and, we talked to Casey. Hey, what do you want to do? We both agreed it's not going to get any better. Let's just get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you made a couple trees. You were in a dead. Tell us about the hunt a little bit. You ended up in a dead tie at the end of regulation.
Yeah. So Merle set up one tree, started barking on it a little bit, and Bo come in to honor him. And me and Casey was kind of picking at each other, and we treed about the same time. But he got it out a little bit before me. I was trying to quick call him there a little bit. So he had 100 circle. I had 50 circle. Went on down. Bo made a tree and a cedar tree, and Merle backed. So that put us both at 150 circle. Then they went over and treed together. He treed first, I treed second. We got in, they were split treed about 23 steps apart, and both had the squirrel. So that locked us up again. You talking about a slow-paced cast. I mean, that was just nerve-wracking because nothing was going on. I'm glad we didn't do a play-by-play. People would have been asleep at their phones. But then we run out of time, so we went into sudden death. And we run 15 minutes off of sudden death and started a new sudden death for another 15 minutes. And with 4 minutes left to go, Bo treed. And I told the guys, I said, well, this hunt's over with one way or the other in 2 minutes or less. And I treed Bo. So if he would have left before the 2 minutes was up, Casey would have won. He stayed, so I won. So It was just, I think me and Casey both were ready to be done one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, hey, you in the regulation, you're the world champion, or Bo's the world champion here, but yeah, just another good weekend for you, I guess. If you summarize the whole weekend, what does this weekend mean to you here?
It means a lot. I've been doing this about 20 years now.
Hey, before you answer that, tell me this. Back up a little bit. So you've been in a world final cast before for the title. Maybe you have. Is this the second time you've been in the final cast, or have you been in the UKC final cast more than twice now? You won it with Junior, obviously.
I won it with Junior. Then I got reserve.
Yeah. Okay. So this is
this is the third.
Third time.
Yeah.
Okay. So having been there before, does that help you? You feel like, or did you do anything different than you might have, or just
no? And I was better about it this year. I tried to do every cast just a small hunt. Just go into it, try to win your cast, and then just let everything else go. And you're always going to make changes to strategies or whatever as the time goes by. And actually, me and Casey was joking about in the wood and said, we're trying to adjust our strategy, but there isn't any because nothing's happening.
Yeah.
So we really didn't have anything.
Nothing to strategize with.
No, I mean, it was horrible. But no, I mean, you just have to play the cards you dealt, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then go ahead, just summarizing the weekend. And
so after doing this for 20 years, and, we was talking about Junior and Bo's out of Junior, so I guess it kind of sounds a little sappy, but I had 5 junior dogs in the world hunt this year. 3 were in the top 10, 2 were in the top 4, and 1 won. And this is coming off of, 3 weekends ago, both the King and Queen of the Derby was out of Junior. I'm glad what I'm doing is working, is I guess, I've been working at it for 20 years, and when you do something for 20 years, you would like to see something come out of it. And I've just been fortunate that I'm seeing something coming out of it.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. It's getting the middle of the afternoon here, and we're sitting in my truck, actually. I'm loaded up, ready to head up to Michigan. It's going to be a busy week for me, so I got to get scooting here, but I'm sure the ride back home to Dexter, Kentucky is going to be probably be on the phone most of the way, I'd imagine.
I'll be on the phone the whole time. So.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Chad, and on another good weekend and winning the world championship here with Bo.
I appreciate you, Alan, and UKC for all they've done for the sport and what they're helping do with the Squirrel Dog program.
Hey, Alan, I don't know if you've been messing around with this new Houndsman Advantage app at all, but I've been playing with it some, and it has some really cool features on it. One, it has the interactive scorecard view where you can assign strike and tree points at the touch of a button, and it automatically totals your scores after each set of points are scored and valued.
Yeah, no, I like it as well. Some of the features that I like is that you can access the rules and that it comes with a search function to easily find any specific rule. Also like that there's a place for your dog's registration numbers, and you can store pictures of your easy entry cards. I like that you can track two dogs' performances when out pleasure hunting. You'll find some analytics on your dogs. You can record their accuracy, win percentages, and a whole lot of things like that.
No more lying here on this app. The last thing about the scorecard I'll talk about is it has the summary view as well, where you can see the total points you have and the pending points that you have, along with tree timers for each dog. So it's going to come in handy for judges as well. So check it all out on the new Houndsman Advantage app.
So I want to congratulate everybody who placed at this year's World Hunt. Just real quick here, I want to give a shout out to the top 10 in the Cur Championship. In 10th place, we had Gamble's Burley, mountain cur owned by Kevin Cable out of Indiana. He was handled by Angie Cable, placed 10th. In 9th place, there was 20K Big Dan, also a mountain cur owned by Stanley Hockenberry from local area there in Indiana, handled by Nathan Freeman. In 8th place, we had Thunder's Black Rooster. That's a mountain cur owned by Alan Franklin out of Ohio, and it was handled by Derek Vian. In 7th, H&R Kennel's Rockets Bubba, another mountain cur. Terry Bailey out of Tennessee owns that dog, and it was handled by Philip Baldwin. Actually, Terry had two dogs there, so he leaned on Philip there. Philip was there with his selling supplies, and he'd never hunted with the dog. I guess they might have went out a little bit Friday or something, but anyways, he was handling Bubba. And he won his first-round cast and enough to place 7th overall. In 6th place, Keefe's Raven, a mountain cur female owned by Dane Keefe out of South Carolina. That was handled by Hayden Bartram of Indiana. In 5th place, we had Skyline Drive Rocky, another mountain cur owned by John Brock out of Indiana. He owns and handles Rocky. 4th place, Tennessee Rowdy O'Dale, another mountain cur. Bobby Taylor out of Tennessee was handled by Josh Carwile. 3rd place, as we talked about, Ivy Puckett's SRB Ivy, another mountain cur female. Charles Puckett out of Kentucky owns and handles her. And then the only treeing cur that placed in the top 10 female Next Level White Claw. Anthony Morris is shown as the owner out of Texas. That was, as we talked about, handled by Stephen Comer out of Indiana. And then obviously the winner, Adcock's Chain Rat Ralph, mountain cur Billy Adcock out of Wisconsin. So congratulations to everybody placed in the top 10 there, and congratulations to all of them, owners, handlers, everybody. So let's move on to our Feist top 10. In 10th place for the Feist, we had in 10th Flaming Bertha. She's a treeing Feist owned by Aiden Mitchell out of Kentucky. He also handled her. Aiden's I think he's only about 15 years old, but man, he is a hunting fool. He hunts coonhounds, Feist, and you just see him everywhere. I don't think he misses many weekends on the road with hunting a dog of some sort, whether it's a coonhound or a squirrel dog or what have you. Ended up 10th with Bertha. 9th, Mighty Oaks Pocket Ace, a mountain Feist owned by Joey Wardrop out of Kentucky. He also handled the dog. 8th place, Ramey's Rocky, a treeing Feist male owned by Michael Ramey out of Georgia, handled by Terry Bailey. I mentioned Terry a little bit ago. He had the dog, the cur in the cur hunt, and he's got a Feist here, so he placed both his dogs he brought. Both of them placed top 10. Wilt's Wild Honey placed 7th. She's a treeing Feist out of Ohio, owned and handled by Terry Wilt. In 6th, the McCarson brothers, they did pretty good, 5th and 6th. Here's Daniel McCarson placed Red Ruby. She is a mountain Feist. This dog's owned by James and Daniel, I guess, out of Tennessee. And then in 5th place was McCarson Smoking Sage. I mentioned that she was in a shootout there with Merle on Saturday night in round 2. She ended up finishing 5th overall. She is a treeing Feist owned by Jamie McCarson out of Tennessee. Fourth, as we mentioned, double up on the Dingo, Adam Wilson, the Mountain Feist male. Windy Ridge Stormy, the Treeing Feist female, David Riley out of Ohio. And then a runner-up, Slyman's Rocky and Merle, Treeing Feist male, Casey Slyman out of Tennessee. And then the world champion, Cedarwood Bow, Treeing Feist male, Chad Wagner out of Kentucky. So there's your top 10 for the Feist. But so yeah, I want to just get this wrapped up here. I want to thank everybody for coming out. First, I want to start with the Perry County Coon Club. Herbie and Debbie Landers, they set everything up again this year, and they're great to work with, and they want to have the hunt back. And gosh, I hope we can maybe go back to it. We'll decide that here in the coming days, weeks, what have you, and try to get that decided here before too long. But a great host, Herbie and Debbie Landers, sure appreciate everything they do. Jeff Jones, one of the club members, officers there, he was a guide coordinator. Man, he always has his homework done. He's always has more than we've needed. And man, thank you, Jeff. I sure do appreciate working with him and have for the last 3 years here at the World Championship. Just does an excellent job. And I want to thank all the guides, anybody that guided for him and throughout the weekend, whether they were hunting guides or non-hunting guides. I know they hunted some of the national forest around there. They hunted also hunted private spots. Just thank everybody that helped out there with hunting guides or with guides. Hunting judges that stepped up in the first round that I assigned all the judges for all the cast, and I sure appreciate everybody doing that. And then Saturday, starting with round number 2, we had enough folks around where we could use hunting or non-hunting judges. So appreciate everybody that also served as a non-hunting judge starting on Saturday night, and then obviously on Sunday in the finals as well. Would be remiss to not thank everybody who entered their dogs. Man, a hunt like this wouldn't be what it is without them. So thanks to everybody that entered a dog in the World Championship. We sure do appreciate your support and for coming to Tell City. I know I would love to see more people there. I know we have more squirrel hunters around the Carolinas. I know it might be a little bit of a drive for some of the squirrel hunters around the country, but southern Indiana, it's really it's very centrally located there and just a good place. And I know there's a bunch of squirrel hunters, Carolinas, Georgia, Mississippi, and Missouri that I know, and we'd sure love to have some of them or more of them come as well. And it was a fun weekend in Tell City, and I hope a lot of those guys were maybe following along throughout the weekend. I tried to post a bunch of stuff as we went, the winners and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully it excites some folks and maybe make some plans and come next year. But again, we had a great crowd on the grounds this year. But hey, like I said, come on. I mean, the more the merrier. I want to thank Philip Baldwin. He came over from Tennessee with his dog and hunting supply trailer, ringtails and tall tails, he calls it, and he had plenty of supplies there for the guys, and that's always good. And sure appreciate him coming. And I want to thank everybody that was there that supported him and bought some supplies from him, making it worth his trip to come over there for this event. And I want to thank the local legends. Man, it's just the Perry County Coon Club is no different than a lot of the old clubs. You have some of the local legends sitting around all weekend and chitting and chatting and helping wherever they're needed. But man, just seeing those veterans sitting around the clubhouse chattering and talking about all the things old to new, and it's just all part of a makeup of a good event, really. So it's always good to see everybody that comes out there. Even the ones that aren't hunting dogs, just coming around, sitting around and talking and everything else. I want to thank Debbie Landers and all the ladies that were working in the kitchen and doing an excellent job. Had good breakfast, lunch menus each day. Last but not least, I want to thank Jamie Eastep again for coming over from West Virginia and helping me out with entries and everything. He always does such a great job for us, and he's great to work with. Chris Ingram as well for making the trip from up in the Northeast, and I look forward to the footage that he got there at the championship. I also want to thank Vance Plant, Earl Reynolds for helping measure dogs. All Feist have to be measured at time of entry, and so they helped me with that. I appreciate it. So thanks to Vance and Earl for helping me out with that. And you know what? If I've left anybody out here, I apologize, because it means a whole lot to have good people to work with and to help make these events as good as we can. It's not a one-person show by any means. It's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and that's what makes things work great. We're not always perfect, but it's not that because we don't try, because it sure helps when everybody's on the same page and we all have the same goals. And it's certainly not about us, and I could care less who wins. I always try to think and say, and what's most important, that is we do the best that we can for everybody that's there. Again, we can't control everything, but there are some things we can, and hopefully we do, as people see that we try to do as good as we can, and I try to get people on board to help that have the same or subscribe to that same logic there. So I appreciate everybody here, and with that, hey, I'm going to wrap this thing up for this episode. But again, thanks to everyone that supports our UKC Squirrel programs, and get those cast wins for next year's National Runoff and Dog of the Year, and hopefully we'll see you next year for the World Championship.
Thank you for listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. Be sure to give us a follow so you don't miss any of our new episodes or content.